Hey everyone, Tactics here, and in this video I'll be going over all of the major changes coming to the game with patch 11.1. New patch hype is of course in full swing, and with that I will be releasing a ton of Mythic Plus, Raid, and Tank Guide content in the coming weeks, so if that sounds like something that is interesting to you, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Now,
Subscribe
there are
to
quite a few
Tactics.
significant changes coming in Season 2, and just to be fully transparent here, I'm going to be specifically focusing on the changes to the three main types of PvE content. So that's Delves, Mythic Plus, and Raiding. Sorry, PvPers. But there also are a few general things that I did want to quickly touch on as well, which are quite interesting. And the first of that is the new ground mount system called Drive.
Yeah, it's gonna be Tokyo Drift. So if you've ever been in Tokyo Drift or ever wanted to be someone that had that kind of skill, you will soon have that.
This is basically how you're going to get around in Undermine. And while you have the option to use your regular ground mounts here, this is significantly faster. It's kind of like what dragon riding was when it initially came out compared to regular flying. I haven't done a ton of this on the PTR, but it looks very cool. And I am interested to see if it's received well and then potentially even adapted to the rest of the ground mount system. Again, kind of like dragon riding was. Outside of that, a commonly requested feature as soon as warbands were implemented
Yeah, we'll
was
do
the
that,
ability
Lux.
to
We'll do
unlock
that.
and change the camp screen, and now that is being implemented with patch 11.1. So you're going to be able to earn and unlock these various camp backgrounds that you can show off on your warband screen, which is just kind of a cool new cosmetic thing for players to collect. Now let's jump into the PvE stuff. So
Okay, so those background for your camps. So what I've heard is that you'll be able to set them up based on your first four, your second four. You'll be able to make them for like every four characters that you want. Upon the unlock, uh, it's either going to be a part of an achievement system or it's going to be part of the renown system that you get. So we'll see if we can find any more information on that.
let's talk about delves. With a new season, there is going to be a new mount. This one's the Delver's Gob Trotter, and this is going to be, you're able to get like parts and stuff as well as full skins, similar to the dirigible of season 1. There's also a couple new
What do they mean, the dirigible? What is the dirigible? That's the thing from the Delves, yeah? Was there a system where you could do what you did with your dragons? Was there something like that? Is that what he was saying? Because I didn't do a lot of delves, so like my brand is only level 32.
new delves coming that are themed around the Undermine patch and Excavation Site 9 and Side Street Sleuths, which are going to be available along with all of the previous Season 1 delves and a new kind of bountiful rotation system to make it a bit more consistent. There's also a new pinnacle
Hey,
delve
Tekwas,
boss
how are you,
in
my
the
friend?
Underpin, and because he's a goblin guy, there's going to be goblin mobs kind of spread throughout all of the delves now instead of Zekvir minions. Brain is also receiving a pretty significant update, so he's now gaining a tank spec. He's had his level cap increased from 60 to 80, and don't worry though, your brand level is going to be retained as you move into season 2, so you don't need to.
Is there going to be a catch up for brand? What if you haven't even done delves? Let's say, for instance, you haven't touched a delve at all. You didn't want to fall into the mole people mindset, and you haven't touched delves. Will they be a catch up? Is brand right now in Dornegal getting rusted XP? I hope so.
To re-level him up all the way from 1. His curios are also reset, and there's an entirely new set.
Oh no, they're resetting the curios. I've been hearing nothing but bad things about these curios. I'm gonna have to play a day of just delves. Then again, I'm thinking, well, to at least level him. At least I'll have that. But I'm also thinking it's got to be something more. It's got to be something more.
Of them coming in season 2. They've also kind of adjusted how curio upgrading works, so they're always going to
Wait. Land says yes. He starts at 60 and delves to 80, or speed leveling for someone starting at 0. Do we have that in? Can you find that in a blue post? And hello, Land. Have you seen that in a blue post? Or is this something that you've heard maybe in another? Yeah, if you can get me that and DM me that on Discord, I'd appreciate it. I'll bring it up here on on the stream.
increased by one
Spartans!
level.
What
We
is
find
your profession?
God damn it, I forgot to mount the blurps. Here we go.
a new curio, but
Hey,
to
other
make up
daddy.
for the fact that you can't skip levels anymore, the drops are much more consistent, including guaranteed drops from bountiful chests. They've also decreased the relative difficulty of tiers 9, 10, and 11 from delves, as previously they were balanced around people with, higher, even mythic difficulty gear, and now they really want to make them balance around just the gear people are getting from delve. So a delve player is going to feel a lot better about doing the 9, 10, and 11 difficulty tiers than they were in season 1. On top of that, another big
Hey,
win for delve players
Hanky. Thank you for the follow. Thank you so much.
is you can now obtain gilded crests consistently from tier 11 delves. They'll drop 7 per tier 11 delve, and this is capped at 21 per week. So you can't get all of them from doing tier 11 delves here, but you can get more than you did previously, and that's going to be nice for upgrading gear. Also, the other kind of heroic.
Okay, so here's another question for everyone new who wants to jump into World of Warcraft. I have my chat here to kind of back me up, guys. You can level up through delves, and your brand can help you. We'll get that one next. Send me a link or put it in the suggestion in Discord, and we can do that. So you could level up not only doing your time walking, but you can also do it in delves. Hey, Carrie, how are you? We're making our first YouTube video today. So if I don't see all of you guys or I have blurps muted, I do apologize, but this is going to be our very first YouTube video for the channel.
Heroic crest drops from that bracket of like 8 to 11 has
Hey,
just been
Watashi.
generically increased. So again, more crests for delve players. The treasure maps that drop from delves have also been adjusted, so this is now going to drop after a static number of delves instead of being RNG, and it's going to be weekly capped at 1 to account for the fact that you're going to be able to get these more consistently. Next up, let's talk about the raid Liberation of Undermine, which features Gallywix as the final boss in a ridiculous Mimron's Head style mount, which of course drops on the mythic version of the encounter for anyone that wants it for themselves.
I think this might be the first year ever I purchase Cutting Edge, because I think that's a kind of, again, I think they outdid themselves with that mount.
Now, the big
How you
thing
doing,
about
brother?
this
Thank you,
raid outside
Watashi.
of the really, really cool theme
I'm doing
is
good.
the brand new Renown track that is coming with it. So you can basically gain 2,500 Renown per week by killing both bosses and mini bosses. A total of 5,000 is available in the raid, so you don't need a full clear the raid to get this. Just about half of it is going to get you all the rep you need to fill out your 1 Renown.
Why was that guy standing in the fire? Was that like strategy? I don't understand. Why would that guy be standing in the fire? I don't. Somebody educate me, because as a tank, I would be running away. As any player, I would be running away. Okay, but this is what they were showing when it was King Kong versus Godzilla. But this would be a little bit different.
Per week, and it
Fire
also
is
already
good.
has a catch-up built into it for players that come in later. Now, what is actually part of this round track? Well, things like the stacking warband raid buff, like Severed Strands. We've also got the raid skip that
It gives a buff. What kind of shit is that? Right now, I'm about ready to turn off my. I'm almost close to shutting off DBM. I'm almost. You better be trolling, because if I do it and I die and look like a dumbass, I'm gonna blame it all on you. I swear to God.
is in the round track, as well as a ton of battle pets, mounts, and even the ability to buy any transmogs that you're missing. All part of this round track, which is pretty cool. Now, there was actually a dinar-like item, the puzzling cartel chip, that was previously a part of this renown track, which would allow players to buy any raid item they wanted and upgrade it up to the myth track item level. The main feedback on this was that people were not happy where you were getting it. It was going to be dropping, I think, week 16 of the patch, which is very, very late. And so Blizzard actually did opt to take it out of the renown track and move it elsewhere. We don't currently know where they've moved it to or when exactly we're going to be getting it. Once we do, I'll probably post a pinned comment down below. But that is something to look forward to, as they have confirmed that they still plan on putting it in the patch. So if you're someone who doesn't re-clear Mythic very much, maybe you're a Mythic Raider that doesn't get Cutting Edge, or you're just someone who doesn't Mythic Raid at all, you're going to be able to at least get some of your really powerful, very rare items or trinkets or something you want from the raid at Mythic eye level.
So that did come up. There was recently an interview with Skarsgård. If you're not familiar with who that is, Skarsgård is one of the, if not the lead, one of the developer. I think he is the lead, but he gives plenty of props to his. He shouts them out name by name. TLDR. They will be coming back. They just took them out of this track because they're trying to see where they best fit. If you're interested in that video, that is an interview with Maximum Limit and Mr. Dratnos himself. They did interview him for like nearly an hour, like 47 minutes. And they go over, which Skarsgård, that guy talks. He's hard to stop. Like they have a guy there, like the sheep herder, Alex, and he's trying to keep an eye on the watch, saying, "Hey, let's wrap this up. Hard stop, full stop." But Scar, he likes to go and go and go. So it's very informative. I think maybe a little bit they didn't get to ask all of their questions because he really wanted to go in depth. He's very excitable, but this is something they touched on, which was the dinars. They know that if they go too far, bringing something back is very hard. So, for instance, and I'm going to make this video even longer, in Dragonflight, they felt like they were giving us something and everything, way too fast. So they gave us everything way too fast. And so he thought there was going to be a whole bunch of backlash when they tried to reduce the way that we got gear because they added the gating in. So in short, everybody said they were happy about that. I don't know who the fuck those people are, but they need to be fucking shot because everybody's got all these alts. So just because one character got geared really fast doesn't mean like the next soldier, army, closet, stable, whatever you want to call all these guys, they all got alts to be doing. So what the hell? I mean, it just, so yes, long story short, they're going to be bringing the dinars back. They want to see what the progression of everyone is going to be like, and then they're going to give us the dinars. One of the best things about dinars, as you, I, and everyone knows, you get to pick the gear. When they introduced that into what he called the Fated Season of Dragonflight, we loved that vendor. We were there to be able to pick our pieces of gear that we didn't have to try and wait for. There was gear that I didn't get because I didn't play that season. So I was able to get that gear off the vendor, and it was fantastic. You know what I mean?
And then that brings us to Mythic Plus, where of course you're going to be getting a brand new dungeon pool. This features the 4 remaining War Within launch dungeons, an entirely new dungeon being made for this patch, and then 3 returning dungeons in Mechagon Workshop, the Motherlode, and Theater of Pain. There are some big and some small changes coming with Season 2, so let's start with these small ones. First up, there's a new bargain affix called Pulsar. This replaces the Oblivion affix, which is the one where it spawns a bunch of orbs all over the place, and they kind of slowly move in.
He needs to show that one because that's Floodgate. That's going to be the very first time that in any season they're giving us a new. So generally what they do for anyone that's new and is asking like, what is this game about? What does this season mean? They used to bring in at the very beginning of the expansion 4 of the 8 dungeons that were released with the expansion. So you get 4 of them. What the other 4 were from previous expansions. So anyone that's been playing the game for a very long time may or may not have seen. Season 2, they would do it again. They'd give you the second half of the 4, and then they'd give you another 4 dungeons from a previous expansion. This time, they're giving you the other 4 that we did not have in Season 1, and then they're giving you 1 dungeon no one has ever seen, and 3 more from previous expansions.
you have to soak them. It was kind of problematic on some boss fights. Pulsar is now basically you have these orbs that rotate around each player, and you need to soak the orb from one of the other players in your group. Much easier to handle, much.
So he's speaking about affixes. I'm sorry. So the affix, the new affix is going to be these orbs that are coming around you. I don't want to think of them as thundering that we've had in season past. That was a very bad, and that costed a lot of people heartache. The outrage based on that causing us to lose so many keys, break so many keys without the Achilles affix. Without the Achilles affix, just bad.
Much easier to tune around and not have it interact poorly with other boss mechanics. They've also unified some of the enemy buffs if you fail the bargain affixes. So now it's always going to grant damage done and damage taken decrease to them for 20 seconds, as opposed to being, sometimes this heals them, sometimes it gives them a ton of haste and stuff. Now it's very consistent. You know what bad thing is going to happen if you mess up. They've also made Voidbound, which is one of the more annoying affixes, a lot less annoying. It used to just previously instantly buff everyone and channel and buff them as the channel continues. Now the buff only happens at the end of the cast, and it's based on how much shield is left.
Wait. Which one is this? I don't know them by name. I know them by seeing them. Which one is that one? That's not the emissary, correct? Anybody want to fill me in? That's not about the emissary one, the Voidbound.
So it makes these guys a whole lot easier to handle because they don't instantly stack up a DR on the pack.
He's saying these guys, so there's multiple. What is the keys this week? What are the affixes on the keys this week? Right now, for those of you that might be watching the video, this is February 19th. So right now, it's basically using blinding light, anything that just moves them, disturbs them from the cast. Ring of Peace. You could do Chaos Nova. You could do blinding light. It's a dispel this week. Yeah, okay.
Those are the small changes.
No, it's not. It's not a dispel. That was... No, dude. I just was playing yesterday. Oh, my goodness.
Let's talk about the big changes, which we did also...
My chat don't know what they're talking about. I usually do these keys every day, and Cheeky was just with me yesterday in a key. No wonder we failed.
Briefly cover in a previous video on the channel, but I'll give you guys the spark notes here. Basically, they're making significant adjustments to the Mythic Plus scaling, the affixes, and the rewards. So to start, Mythic Zeros, they're now rewarding champion track gear and moving to a weekly lockout. To account for this, they are increasing the difficulty of Mythic Zeros. Now, this does tend to happen on a season-to-season basis, and it appears they did this just a little bit more this season, so it doesn't seem too super out of whack in terms of difficulty. From there, +2s through +10s have had their scaling decrease to 7% damage and health per key level, which was 10% in Season 1. Once you hit 11s and above, that still scales at 10% per key level, but having all of these lower key levels scale at a much lesser rate has a pretty significant impact on the overall health and damage scaling, even as you get into the higher key levels.
Okay. I may stand corrected, and it was a dispel. So somebody had to dispel me. See, that's what I don't understand. We're going to be doing keys in a little bit. Trust. But referring to this, I think it's nice that they're adjusting 0 and 2s. Zeros are going to have no timer. Was 2s also going to have no timer? Are 2s going to have no timer as well? Anybody remember? So don't think you're going to be, just because you might be at like 640 item level, don't think you're going to be able to go into a key and immediately do an 8 or a 10. So you're still going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to put in the work. Now, you may not have to start at a 2, but if you've never played the game before, I suggest you go through every little bit that you can to see what it is you know about your class, to see what it is that you need to learn about the interrupts, which they've changed this season, so this upcoming season, so it shouldn't be as rough. But there's going to be one thing: if you're going to be a healer, that you better get used to really fast. You better get to learn how to heal everyone quite often, because there's going to be unavoidable damage, pulsing damage that are coming from a lot of these keys. And not to scare you from healing, but learn it, live it, love it. Find out what people are using for their, I always like to talk to people like they've never played the game. And if they haven't healed before, and even if I wanted to try and heal, I would be asking for a lot of advice. And being a streamer, I might have the streamer perk of being able to ask them, and they could send me a whole bunch of links, walk me through it here on stream. But if you're not a streamer, you're going to have to do a lot of research and be willing to take the time.
Can I get a
Just-
res, please?
Just be
Challenger's
sure.
Peril, an affix a lot of people disliked, has been moved. So the additional scaling on the Xal'atath's Guile affix coming at plus 12 has been removed entirely. So there's no bonus scaling on top of all the other affixes. And instead, the death penalty of Challenger's Peril is appearing at plus 12, which drastically, I think, reduces the difficulty jump, not only for 11s and 12s, but also from 6 to 7, because that was an affix that was very, very punishing for players coming in and still kind of learning the dungeons around those key levels. There's also been an affix shuffle accordingly, as Challenger's Peril, as I said, is gone from 7. So Bargain now starts at 4, which means there's
So happy that Challenger's Peril is gone. So happy. Hey, Ganja, how you doing? So happy it's gone and moved to 12. I mean, if we will see it, because I plan on pushing 3K this season, and I believe it will be easier for everyone to get to 3K, and there is a mount for getting there. So the incentive for people that are pushing that way is going to be there.
There's no affix on plus 2 and plus 3. The first of Fort and Tyrannical comes in at 7, where Challenger's Peril previously was. And then the second one still comes in at plus 10. And then, of course, you have the Challenger's Peril, which is now Xal'atath's Guile, coming in at plus 12.
So to reiterate that, your first Xal'atath thingamajigger is going to be 4, then it's going to be 7, and then it's going to be 10. They moved the other one to 12. So you're only going to have to worry about 3. And then we should be fine. Like Fortitude and Tyrannical used to be at, 4 and 7. Now that's going to be pushed to 7 and 10. So they will swap per week.
Overall, the difficulty curve here is just way, way smoother in Season 2 because of this affix shuffle and because of the scaling adjustments here. So I think players are going to have a much better time, especially Pug players, because that was something that Blizzard specifically wanted to target at making this easier for Pug players. In terms of rewards, there's a bunch of adjustments as well. Hero Track Gear is now available earlier at the plus 6 key level. Gilded Crests are now available earlier at the plus 7 key level. So now if you want to farm those things, you can do that at a lower key level. It's a little bit easier to get them and makes those key levels a bit more rewarding, a bit hopefully plentiful in LFG, because there was this key bracket where it was kind of hard to find people in these lower keys because people were just doing delves to get those rewards. So happy to see these reward increases for those Mythic Plus key levels. There's also a new stretch goal for people who want to reach 3K rating, and that is Keystone Legend. This grants you the Enterprising Shredder Tank, and this is on top of the fact that the Keystone Master Mount and the Keystone Hero stuff all still exist. So this is just another stretch goal for anyone who want to get 3K rating, which again is going to be easier now in Season 2 because of the scaling adjustments than it was in Season 1. This is now your stretch goal. They've also added key floors in for players that are pushing above that plus 12 key level. Basically means that if you time all of one key level starting at 12, then your keys can no longer deplete below that level. So if you time all 13s, all 8 dungeons and 13s, your key can no longer deplete for 3 days. 13. And that goes all the way up to, I think they put achievements.
Hey, Carson, 25. How you doing, brother?
I don't know if we're going to see a 25 next season, but basically, it's a really, really nice way to not have your key kind of decay over the course of the season. You want to take a few weeks off, you can do that, and your key is still going to be at a decent level, which is really, really nice for key pushers. Overall, a lot of positive changes, I think, coming across the board for Delves, Raid, and Mythic Plus. I want to know which one you are most excited for, though. Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're there, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we've got a ton of guide content coming your way very soon. As always, I need to give a massive shout out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters.
There you go. He's got Patreons,
guy. See everyone in the next video.
There you have it. Now, quite honestly, I think the idea with the depletion of your keys is going to be great. So I don't know how many of you are just here to collect gear because we like to see the numbers go up. But once you get to 10, that's going to be it for a lot of people. Once you get to your mount, so your 3K, that's going to be another area where that's it. But quite honestly, I think this is going to be something that everyone is going to enjoy. I quite honestly think that this is going to be something that everybody sees a great aesthetic to. The raid, especially. The raid, especially, could be one of the biggest and best things that you see when you're out there and you get to see the grandiose of what the imagination can do, and Blizzard can do it right. So that was a great video. I'll go ahead and I'll post that in the chat so you guys can go give it a follow, a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.